Do we?
No, hold
No,
on.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're live now. What's
Okay.
up? Okay. What's up, YouTube community? It's your boy Jeff, aka the Cantonese Comic Kid. This is the Extreme Nerd Table. Got some guests with me. Got Mylar Madness. Let me introduce Mylar Madness, aka Tim. You guys all know him as Mylar Madness.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
And then I have a special guest that's Randall, and he runs Comic Book Collectors League on Facebook. He runs a Facebook group. He's a comic books website owner, I guess we would call him. Comic variant corner, comic blank variants.
You want me to step in?
Yeah.
I'm Randall Armstrong. I do a lot.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he does a lot.
I run my own online comic book store, but it's still like in the process of like beginning stages. So it's a Blank Variant Comics. I also run Comic Book Collectors League, which is my own personal Facebook group, talking about comic books, anything comic book related, TV shows, movies, video games, comics. And there's a couple other groups that I do as well. I'll give a little shout out for those of you that are DC fans. I also do a group called DC Universe Members Only. So if you have the DC Universe subscription service, if you go onto the community message boards and you find the thread or the post and you comment on there, then you can go onto the Facebook page, fill out the questions, and then once I go onto the community boards, I can verify who you say you are, and then you're entered into an exclusive group only for DC Universe members.
That's cool.
You lost me at I like DC.
What do you like?
I like DC. I like Marvel. I like everybody. I was just saying that was a very complicated set of instructions. If you go to the DC website and you find the column where there's and you click on that and you leave a comment, and then if you come back to my site and say that you left the comment on that specific site, then maybe you could join my exclusive comic book collection.
That's why it's so exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
It's so exclusive. Oh, roughly about 250 members in the group.
I'll do it if you have like exclusive little flight rings or something. Then I'll do it.
I would do.
You make me want to show off the cool DC Universe swag that I got from DC.
I want to see it. That was a segue to show off the swag.
All right, let's do that. So, being part of DC Universe, like when the site first launched, the first thing I went to was to the community message boards, because as a big DC fan, I wanted to meet other fellow DC fans all across the U.S. I was going to say world, but it's not across the world. Right now, DC Universe is only available in the United States. So there's a lot of DC fans outside of the U.S. that are like so frustrated because they want the service. They want to be part of the group, I suppose. But the cool thing is, by me participating in the group so much, I've gotten to know the moderators. I've gotten to know the admins that run the message boards. And the cool thing was they actually invited me out to Los Angeles. I went to California, and I got to go to the building where they record the episodes for DC Daily. So I got to meet cast members. Burt Ward was there. I got to meet Burt Ward. I got his signature. They had the Batmobiles lined up. They had karaoke that night, free meals. I mean, it was awesome. It was like the best experience that I had this year. And I flew to Japan. You know, so people are like, oh, Japan's awesome. Not as awesome as it was going to Los Angeles and hanging out at DC Universe. But
I saw your posts. They were really good. There were really some cool pictures.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I can't wait, because next year I'm going to San Diego Comic-Con. And it'll be great to see all the people from DC Universe, because they'll be there. Like, a lot of them will be there. I'm sure they'll be at the DC booth at SDCC. And so I'm going to go out there. I'm going to hang out with them, chat with them. I'll probably be hanging out in the DC section almost the entire convention, probably. Maybe. We'll see. But anyways, being part of the service, they say, hey, thank you for contributing. Thank you for, really helping with the community message boards, you know, like kind of like being a super DC fan basically. And so as a thank you, they send out like care packages. They invited me to do like a questionnaire, and like the questionnaire basically I'm giving feedback, and they use that feedback to help kind of like improve and add more things to the DC Universe service. So let me show you some of the stuff that I got from them. They sent me a bunch of posters, but I already put those away, so I can't show that off right now.
That's cool.
So what I will show off is I'm going to show off these comic books that they sent me. I told them before when they invited me out, they said, you know, what are some suggestions that, you know, you think would be great for the service? And I used to tell them, well, as a comic book fan, I think it'd be great if you had like on your DC shop, you had like exclusive variants, you had exclusive books, like you can only get these books through DC Universe. Like you have to have the service, you have to go in the shop, and you can get the book there. You know, because like lots of comic book stores, they have their own DC exclusive covers. Like for example, Detective Comics 1000, Torpedo Comics. Torpedo Comics worked out a deal with Jim Lee, and Jim Lee did like 3 or 4 different covers just for their store. So their store exclusives. So segueing into that, I didn't know this existed, but I got this in. And this is a Detective Comics.
Nice.
Sorry for the glare there.
Yeah, right there, Rando. Right there.
Right there. Yeah. Detective Comics 1000, Jim Lee, DC Universe, because you can see it right here.
Yeah.
And the cool thing too is the back of the book says DC Universe.
Nice.
And it's a DC Universe exclusive cover that Jim Lee did. So they actually ended up doing something, you know, except these were giveaways. Like they sent this to me for free. I didn't see this in the shop unless they're planning to add it to the shop later, maybe. But I didn't see. There's no price tag on this book, even though we know that when the book came out, it was like $9.99. It's a $10 book.
Yeah.
But there's no price tag on it. In fact, let me check real quick. I don't even think there's a barcode on it.
Yeah, probably a thank you book, kind of like the Spawn thank you book. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a thank you.
Very
book.
nice.
DC Universe Ultimate DC membership. I've already went on eBay looking for this book to see if other people were selling it, and there was already like one sold for like $99 or something like that. A couple people are selling it for 100, 110, 120. One person I think is selling it for 130. So yeah, I mean, like this was like you can't just go somewhere and find this book and buy it.
Sure. Yeah.
I like that. I got a few other ones here that are cool. These other ones I would love to. Hopefully, maybe they'll be at San Diego Comic-Con. I'd love to meet them and get them to sign it, like cast members from the TV shows. So, for example, Young Justice, the animated series, I didn't really get to look into all the details, all the information on it. But so DC Universe actually made a just for digital only comic book story, Young Justice, like a prequel leading into the Young Justice current animated series, The Outsiders.
Oh, I got that.
You have this one?
Yep, I got that.
Where'd you get it?
Huh? I got it through the distributor. Yep, I got that as an add-on. Somebody had sent me stuff, and I got that book. I can't remember exactly where, but I remember getting it. Yeah.
Sweet.
It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, it says Young Justice Outsiders 1, which I thought was a reprint of like the Young Justice comic that they did a while ago. But no, this is this is actually cool to have because this is the physical copy of the digital, I believe. That's only the digital story that they made specifically for the site.
For the site,
It's supposed to be like a prequel to the 3rd season.
Yeah,
so there's that. I don't know, Tim. Maybe you got this one too. Doom Patrol 19 reprint, but it's got from the TV show.
No, but I have access to one. If I wanted to, I can buy it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a cool one though. I like that. I like that image.
Yeah, it's a great image. And then, like, can you imagine like just having the whole cast getting to sign that?
Absolutely.
And then I got one more. You probably have access to this one too. You got this Swamp Thing.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Yeah, that's a beautiful book. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the Saga Swamp Thing number 21, Alan Moore.
First the Alan Moore story. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
I seen those also going for. I think I saw that was first brought to my attention on eBay. I saw it on eBay and I was like, what?
Oh,
And
nice.
they were going for like $80 to $120
Just for that one.
just for that one. Yeah, it's a nice book. Yeah.
I got it for free.
I
Just
like
had to
free
remind
stuff.
everyone in case they weren't listening.
Yeah, no, they're listening. Because I see the chat going, but my chat's not showing up on my side. That's weird. But there are a couple there. Perry's actually lurking right now. Perry's
Who?
lurking. Perry Comics is lurking us right now. What's up,
Oh,
Perry?
what up, Perry?
And
Hey, what's up?
yeah, Sam's Tangle Web, and we have Joe 4771. What's up, guys?
What's up, Joe?
Yeah. So
You guys, did you guys say Steve Perry?
no, Perry.
No.
Perry
Perry Comics.
That's Perry Comics, but that's who he's named after, though. That's his mom was a big 90210 fan, so they really liked pretty much.
You mean Luke Perry?
Luke Perry, yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, Luke Perry. Okay.
Yeah.
Steve
No, every,
Perry.
every time I hear Steve Perry, I think of the movie Basketball.
Oh yeah.
And when the guy's shooting, he's like, Steve Perry. And I like psych him out.
All right, Tim,
I think of Journey. Steve Perry, Journey.
How was
Right.
Ranger Stop for you?
What's that?
How was Ranger Stop?
Ranger Stop's a nice little show. I suggest everyone go out and support Ranger Stop in Orlando. What I really like about it is that they're bringing all these actors from New Zealand. One of the actors that was there today was he was actually in Solo. He played one of the soldiers in Solo. He's a small actor, but he's you can tell he's like Samoan or somewhere from the islands. But you know, they had him there, and I got he played this character here from the Mystic realms.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was a really cool character. He was also in Ranger SPD. He played the character where he had the blue dog.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that character, but he had the helmet, and when he took his helmet off, he was a blue animated dog.
Yeah, I unfortunately got out of Power Rangers when they were doing Zeo. I just lost track of it. But one of these days, I really just want to binge watch everything from the beginning. And just there's so much history behind Power Rangers. I love the love for Power Rangers now. It's even bigger than it was before. That's beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah, I like collecting the specialty Rangers. This is Taizan. This is this guy right here. He was the specialty Ranger, kind of like what Jason was, the Green Ranger. He was the specialty Ranger.
Okay. Yeah.
You know? So that's kind of cool. And I don't know if you remember the old TV show, The Knights of Tir na Nog.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, there was what they did was one season of the Rangers, they had the mystical knights, and this one here is a really nice. I actually made these photographs myself, but I love.
Oh, nice.
They're like earth-based Rangers, where they're the forest and the trees and the oceans, and
nice.
And you can see he's standing over a forest there, and love the beautiful white pen autographs. Really nice. So, sometimes I get them personalized, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
So they're the what is it? They're the Captain Planet Rangers, pretty much.
yeah, pretty much. The Captain. Yeah, here's the yellow.
Yeah. Oh, she was there.
What I like about it is you can pretty much get the whole crew. Yeah, and they're inexpensive. The autographs are only between $20 and $40.
So yeah, it's definitely attainable.
Yeah,
that's all obtainable, and of course you can't say no to the one of the Red Rangers. I always collect all my Red Rangers, and what I liked about these Rangers is they all had capes.
Yeah, I like the capes.
Yeah, the capes look really dramatic on the Rangers, and they I
think they look great on photo, but when you see them on video, not so much. Maybe in slow motion. But that's the thing is when you see them, they're always running really fast.
Yeah.
So it's you see little capes
Yeah. I really love the Rangers. I mean, I always tell people to check out Boom Comics. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Dan Moore was doing a great job on that book. Even Trini Howard, when she was working on the book, I believe she was doing a great job on it too.
What do you
I
think about the
a lot of-
Omega Rangers right now?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of good stuff comes out from Boom. I think that's an underrated company, and there's a lot of people are finally starting to take notice. Something is Killing the Children. That's a big hit.
Yeah.
Once in Future. That's another big hit.
Yeah.
So people are really starting to take notice of Boom, and I would suggest that a lot of people go out there and start hunting for Boom back issues because they were all miniseries. They were all limited series in some shape or form, and they're easy to obtain, and a lot of good stories. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really productive going to the Ranger Con. Like I said, I suggested everybody get a chance to support it. They also had a lot of other Rangers there. I mean, there was about 20 Rangers there, but a lot of them I've already seen before.
Do you know
the ones that live in the area? Huh?
Do you know like a Zach Santiago?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, like he does like some of the acting at the Universal. I think he does like Wolverine at the.
Oh right, yeah.
And he's a huge Ranger fan. He's a big cosplayer, and he was showing off pictures like he was like doing like the actual like fighting poses with
right on.
like a lot of the other actors.
Well, they had Austin St. John was there.
Oh, nice.
So he's the original Red Ranger.
Yeah,
he charges a little bit more because he's like the headliner. And
Yeah.
they had the young kid who played the Blue Ranger from the movie, which was kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, he was on the TV show also when they were doing Zeo.
Yeah, yeah. So it was really productive. It's really fun. It's a nice small little show. A lot of Ranger memorabilia. Beautiful T-shirts. Beautiful
Sure there
prints.
was lots of toys.
Yeah, a lot of variant comics to pick up.
Sweet.
Yeah, a lot of them are expensive though because they're already going for like 40, 50, 60 bucks. And I'm there to focus on the autographs because when's the next time these people are going to come from New Zealand?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
You
you're
know
right.
what I'm saying?
You got to go to New Zealand.
Yeah. I really would love to go to New Zealand.
I mean, there's two reasons to go for New Zealand, right? Like you go to New
As an
Zealand
actor,
for the
too.
Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the
And for the
scenery.
Hobbits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as an actor too, New Zealand is a hotbed for entertainment business.
Oh yeah. I think there's like a lot of great incentives there for filming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, one of these days it's on my bucket list. You know, got close. Went to Hawaii, so
Nice.
you know,
Nice.
another
honestly,
too big a jump, but I would have been in New Zealand.
Since you got that running right now, I'm serious. Like you could be like a wizard on a Power Rangers episode.
Yeah.
You know, like you could show and be like, hey.
Yeah.
Well, I had the full beard. I had the whole full beard from my Pirate Water Taxi, the Haunted River Tours here in Tampa.
Yeah.
And I'm getting ready to do an elf gig, and I'm playing Big E, which is it's Buddy's brother, half brother. So if you're familiar with Buddy the Elf,
yeah.
I'm Big E.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Big E. It's big letter E. My real name is Easter. I'm an elf called Easter.
Okay.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's cool.
and I'm going to be doing it all Christmas long, all through the holidays. On the Pirate Water Taxi River Tour, they have a caroler tour where people get to sit on the boat and they have Christmas carols. I'm going to be a little bit of an interruption during the Christmas carols.
Are you gonna like emerge out of the water and jump onto the boat?
No,
like,
I'm gonna signal them from the. There's a dock further up, just past Curtis Sixon Park, and I'm gonna be signaling. I'm gonna signal them, and I'm gonna come in, and I'm gonna be like, "Oh my God, everybody! I lost Santa. I don't know where Santa went. I'm trying to find Santa. Anybody want an elfie? Let's take an elfie. Take an elfie. Take an elfie." You know, and just just being really silly and funny, and asking people where they're from and why they're coming to Tampa, and have they been to certain places. And I'll probably bother the carolers a little bit and come up with my own songs. Like,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's live entertainment, and they pay me a sick load of money.
Like record all of it.
I do. Every once in a while, I'll get links on YouTube from people's videos, and I get to watch myself perform, which is always a great way to see yourself, because I rarely get to see myself perform.
Yeah.
I don't get to record myself, so I have to rely on other people to come on board and to videotape me. Of course, being on the Channel 13 Fox Fox and Friends in the Morning. I was on with Charlie Belcher, and we did Five Thoughts with Charlie. Yeah, so that was nice, and got a lot of feedback from that as well. Charlie really, and he enjoys everybody. What a great job that guy has.
All right.
Yeah, just
he gets paid to like
Tampa.
interview and like do all these fun stuff,
Yeah, do all the fun stuff. I mean, he has to get up really early in the morning. I mean, he rolled out of bed at like 4:00. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Well, let me do this real quick. Let me shout out our chat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. YouTube is 90. What's up, 90? What's up, Chad? What's up, Javi? I sent you an invite, Javi. If you want to hop in, come right ahead. The email's it. I sent you the email. Joe, what's up, everybody? These are my friends that aren't really YouTubers. Well, Mylar Madness Tim is one. Tim is the one that started me. So I wanted to help him out a little bit. You guys, I'm going to leave everything in the description so you can go subscribe to Tim and you can go help out Rando's channels and stuff.
Pick me up a beach towel. Got me a beach towel.
Wow, that's cool.
Hey, that's my beach towel.
Right? They were on sale.
Nice. Where was it? Target?
Walmart.
I hate Walmart.
I hate Walmart too, but when you can pick up a nice, big, huge beach towel for like $3, that's when I love Walmart.
I like to keep my soul.
Yeah. Sam Walton's got all of our souls somewhere in a bottle.
No, I took it back.
You took it back.
I got my refund.
What's up, Air Spider 23?
What's up, guys?
Hey, you want to see something neat, guys? Watch this. You can actually see
right on.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Thanks,
Conquistadors.
Thanks, Conquistadorks. Yep, yeah. I've seen him before. I watched him. Nice. He comments on Perry Comics a lot. I've seen him.
That's Javi. That's
a great name, Conquistadorks.
Yeah. See,
I like that.
7-7. There's Joe.
That is definitely not Alex Ross.
No, it's not Alex Ross. I'm gonna say it's almost like a John Bogdanov.
Tim knows.
He's got that square jaw.
Tim's been collecting for
It's an Alex Ross. It's an Alex Ross knockoff called Alex Voss.
But
I'm kidding.
So how long have you been collecting, Tim? Let the community know.
I started collecting.
Can I answer this question?
I went to a very small film that came on back in 1977 called Star Wars, and that's when I caught the bug and I started collecting Star Wars action figures. Mm-hmm. I've got the original the mail away pack that I had to mail my coupon out, and early bird edition tray. I've got that, and ever since then I started collecting Star Wars memorabilia. Then I heard that Marvel was putting out a comic book, and I used to read comic books when I was even younger than that. I used to read Swamp Thing. They were my brother's comics, but then I found an actual newsstand when I was around. Gosh, I want to say 9 or 10. I was with my dad, and we were at his barbershop. My dad used to be a barber here in Tampa, and we walked down to the newsstand, and I literally picked the comics off the spinner racks. And I think the first comic book I ever bought myself with my own money when I was a little kid was a Silver Surfer comic book. It was volume 2, number 1. It was only a one-shot. Yeah. And I think that was one of the first comics that I bought when I was a kid. I think that came out in the, like 80, I think 1980, something like that. I can't remember.
Probably about 50 something years, like 50.
No, not 50. No. Going on, 1976, 86, 96, 2006, 2016, about 45 years, man. 45 years. 45. And I'm a very strict collector. I don't collect anything younger than me. Yeah. So,
well, you'll be Robert's best friend now. You'll be Robert G-Spot's best friend because your first book was a Silver Surfer book.
Yeah,
he's a big Silver Surfer guy, so you'll be his best friend. Yeah, and then you'll be Biggie Shack's best friend, Randall, because he's a big Superman guy.
Yeah.
He's a big Kirby guy and Superman guy. So how long have you been collecting? I want people to know. So.
Oh man, this is embarrassing. Okay, so I've been collecting since like let's see here. In 1977, there was this small film that came out. Star Wars.
You weren't even born yet.
I wasn't even born then, so like Tim got me beat. No, there's the beginning of me being a fan, and there's me being like collecting. So like as a kid, I always liked Superman, Christopher Reeves. I just remember as a kid watching the film, and then I think the thing that really reached out to me in the film was the John Williams music. Of course, I know that if you were to watch that movie and you took the John Williams music out of it, it wouldn't be as spectacular as that film is. Like that's how important the music is. And I just remember the theme playing in my head. I got the towel on and I'm going around like pretending and just imagining that I'm Superman, And so me being affected like that as a little kid, and of course 1989, Batman, Michael Keaton. I remember as a little kid, I wanted to see that movie in theaters. I remember telling my dad, hey, I really want to go see that. Didn't get to go see it in theaters. But at least he was kind enough to buy me a VHS tape, and I watched that movie like almost every day for like a month. And then of course here I am, a kid again. Batman Returns is coming out, and I say to my dad like, "Hey, I really want to see this movie theater." Didn't see it in the movie theater. My dad, for some reason, didn't like going to the movies. So, but anyways, as far as collecting goes, I was collecting Goosebump books as a kid. And what happened was Death of Superman had came out, and I remember turning to my mom. I was like, "Oh, I want to get this," and my mom was like, "No." She's like, "You're already getting the Goosebump books. No Superman comics, nothing." And I was like, "Ah." And so, what is that, Knight Rider?
Yeah. We've been joined by David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff. The Hoff.
David Hasselhoff is very curious about how Randall got to get in the comic book business.
Okay. So years after that, I'm walking at a gas station and something caught the corner of my eye. And it was Stuart Eminem did the cover of an Electrical Blue Superman on the cover of a Wizard magazine. And I didn't know what Wizard was. I looked at it and I thought, oh, it's a comic book. And so I picked it up. And when I opened it and I was looking through it, I'm like, okay, this is not a comic book. And I was looking through it, looking for Electrical Blue Superman, and I found an article. And I didn't really read the article. I just looked at it for the pictures. But then one day I actually got really curious and bored, and I actually started to read some of the articles. And then I understood what it was. And it was basically them advertising and talking about the changes that Superman was going to go through. So on a technicality, it was Superman issue 123 is what got me into collecting comic books. Even though I had already started to pick up a few, I think I started picking up a few other Superman comics before that issue came out because I wanted to read how it got there or how it happened to that. And I've been kind of collecting comic books ever since then. Like I started with just collecting Superman comics, and then I, kept picking up Wizard magazine, and I started learning more about other titles, other series, other characters. And so actually, an immensely huge thanks goes to Wizard magazine because they helped educate me. This was before like the internet was huge. And so they helped educate me, letting me know about comic books. Like I wasn't going into a comic book store. I wasn't talking to people. I didn't have other people who were into comic books. At that time, it was just me. I was alone. I had nobody that was into comic books but me. And so it was because of Wizard magazine, like just going through it and flipping through it and learning. So I started picking up X-Men books. When Marvel rebooted for the first time, so to speak, the Heroes Reborn, Heroes Return, that's when I kind of started reading Marvel comics. And then when they did like the whole launch of all the number ones, like Avengers #1, I picked that up. Fantastic Four #1, I picked that up. Iron Man #1 and Captain America #1, and even like down the road, they did a Thor #1 with Dan Jurgens, which was a phenomenal run in my opinion. So that was kind of like my segue into Marvel. But like one of my favorite things about Marvel was Spider-Man. Who's Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel character. For DC though, my favorite character obviously is Superman. My second favorite character would be Green Lantern. But yeah, it was amazing, kind of just like learning about DC, learning about Marvel. Obviously, I watched the cartoon series. anything comic book involved. I was such a big comic book enthusiast that anything comic book related, whether it was a cartoon show, a movie, anything, I was recording it, I was watching it, and I was like, keeping on top of it and always excited. Like I remember seeing Blade in movie theaters, and I remember like when they were promoting Blade, you would see Marvel Entertainment or Marvel, the logo. So I knew instantly, like, this is Blade. This, and my experience to Blade was from Spider-Man the animated series. So like when I saw Blade, I was like, oh, awesome. Blade's, has a movie. This is a Marvel movie. I'm gonna go check it out because it's a comic book film. And I just remember like there were people who were like not knowing, like, oh my God, Blade's a comic book film. Like they thought it was just a vampire film. They thought it was like a horror film or a horror action film, and it's like they had no clue. And there's still people out there that have no clue. But that was kind of, it was so cool. Like every year I was looking forward to a comic book film, and now we get like what, 4 or 5 a year. I'm still holding out once a month. I want like one comic book film a month. Like
David said he could have played Iron Man.
He was Nick Fury.
That's right, he was Nick Fury, wasn't he? For that made-for-TV movie, that was horrible.
Yeah. All right, Randall, I'm
the original Nick Fury, because I'm the Hoff. That's right.
He's like running in slow motion, like in Baywatch.
Got a quick question.
Assembling like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, Randall, got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
I know everybody's gonna want to know about this, so I'm gonna ask you. Since you worked for CBCS before,
yes.
Explain
That's
how
the Hoff's butt. Look, the Hoff's butt.
So explain how that works. Explain how you got in there and how.
Oh, how I got in.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? When I had my original comic book store, I had a store. It was called Thunder Road Comics, and what's cool is when you own a comic book store or even work in a comic book store, you meet some of the most interesting people. You meet some of the best people. There's still your fair share of like morons and dirtbags, but no, you meet. I mean, I've met a lot of great people through working at comic book stores, and then of course having my own store. And I love interacting with people. I love meeting other people that have the same interests as me, and just because it's so much fun to talk about these things that we love, these people that created and all that. But anyways, I had my store, and there was a customer.
Name that action figure.
I swear, Tim's gonna come out with a sex tape with action figures. But
comic book related.
Yeah. it'll be tasteful. Like,
do you know who that is?
Like, huh?
Do you know who that is?
Cyberfrog? No.
Nope.
I don't know.
This is where my knowledge comes in handy. This is Zen, the intergalactic ninja.
Zen, of course.
Well, explain who he is, because I know a lot of these guys won't know who he is. So
yeah, Zen's been around since the early '90s, I think, maybe even the late '80s. Really small press, self-published book by Don Coates and Roger Stern, I believe it was, or Ron Stern, or Dan Stern and Roger Coates. I get the two confused, but he's an intergalactic ninja. He doesn't kill. He uses a staff. Although on the first issue, they do have him with a bloody blade on the cover of his first issue. They quickly brought that one back and brought him with just his staff that he uses. But
he was just using that to put jelly on toast.
Yes, he was buttering his bread. Sure, absolutely. That
wasn't blood.
But because of the turtles craze of the '80s, they tried to create an animated series with Zen, the intergalactic ninja, and all of the recycled heroes that he had. There was a tin can hero that was a recyclable hero, and there was a trash hero that was a recyclable hero, and it didn't turn out as well. I mean, I think the Toxic Crusader used the same angle at the same time. And they ended up doing an animated series. Yeah, which was also based on the Toxic Avenger, which is not for kids at all.
When you asked who it was, look, this is what Joe answered.
Blue Manta. No, not Blue Manta. That's Zen, the intergalactic ninja. He's a very difficult figure to find, even though it's still relatively inexpensive. You can probably pick him up for like $15 open, and sometimes even, on a card still.
Oh, it's just Black Manta with a blue lantern ring.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, Randall, finish explaining how you
Oh, yeah.
met
So,
guys and everything like
CBCS.
that.
So, anyways, I met a fellow comic book enthusiast. His name is David McPike, who later on started his own comic book business, which was Pike's Comics. Sadly, he had to close the store, but he still does business. He still does like conventions and sets up tables. But yeah, so David McPike actually knew the president of CBCS, which was Steve Boric. And so he's like, hey, I know Steve, and I know they're looking for people hiring. I can, get you an email. You can, get in contact with him, which I did. And so he's like, yeah, are you willing to interview? And I was like, sure, absolutely. And so I drove out to St. Pete. I met Steve. And one of the challenges, because CBCS, of course, was a new business, their pay wasn't like outrageously great, which for me personally, it didn't matter. I was just like, I literally, like, I remember in the interview, Steve, like, he was asking me all these questions, and I'm like, sounds great. I'm totally interested. Absolutely. I think I can learn. I think I can contribute. I can do well. And so he was enthusiastic. He was like, that sounds great. And then his tone kind of changed, because he was like mentioning like, okay, well, about the pay. And I almost cut him off. And I was just like, listen, I don't care how much you pay me. Like, I'll take the job, And so he basically said, yeah, well, it's like, $10 an hour. And I'm like, sounds good. I can. And so he's like, so you can start like Monday. I'm like, yes. And then that's how I started. They gave me the chance. I interviewed Steve, and Steve Boric used to work for CGC Comics. He helped like establish CGC Comics. So like he was like he's the most important person at CBCS. So it was cool. He's the president of the company. I got to meet with him. I interviewed with him. I still keep in touch with him from time to time. I know he's always extremely busy. He even like works on the weekends. The job is supposed to be like Monday through Friday, and he'll show up on Saturday, and he's still like grading books and going through books. And then he'll do like the occasional conventions, and he meets people and gets interviewed. But he is one of the nicest, most sweetest guys in the world. Like wherever that guy goes, I would follow him. Like he's super nice, super generous. He is the main reason to even support CBCS, in my opinion.
Okay, I got another question, Rena. Did they transfer over to different people? Did they sell to different people or something?
Yeah, you had your original owners, and gosh, I'm trying to think if I'm allowed to even say this.
If you're not allowed to, it's okay. You know what I mean? I'm just asking.
Well, no, it's okay. I mean, like there's like a non-disclosure agreement and all this other stuff, but technically, the non-disclosure agreement is technically over with.
Right.
When if you're bought by another company,
right.
That means if I were working for the other company, technically I'm still an employee.
How's that work?
It's man, I can tell you stories. I can go all day about it.
Okay.
But I don't think I'll get in trouble for saying this. You had the original owner. Rumor was because I can't confirm it. I wasn't there. The original owners never told me this. But this was kind of sort of like the round table talk amongst fellow employees. But the rumor was the Borensteins, which they are based actually in Texas, I believe, as well.
Okay.
They were huge customers of CGC.
Okay.
And what happened was this is all rumor again. This is not like 100% guaranteed. This is what I'm telling you what I heard.
Right.
So the Borensteins, apparently there was an issue with their CGC order, and they were upset about the order, and I guess there was some kind of like conflict or confrontation via conversation or whatever. And apparently one of the employees at CGC blurted out like, why don't you start your own grading company? And that's exactly what they did. They were like, they were that angry with CGC that they went and they started their own grading company.
Oh, okay.
They found investors, all that stuff. They recruited Steve Boric. They started CBCS. And then now they reached the point where they're like, you know what? This is way, my assumption is this is way more work than what we want to deal with and handle. So we found somebody who wants to buy the company. So I'm sure when they sold the company, they got their money back and probably a little sum. I'm sure they made a little bit of a profit. And that's where Beckett Authentic Services comes in. They've always wanted to get into grading comics, so they acquired CBCS. What's interesting was I hung out with Steve at his house. He was doing like a little gathering, like comic swap art, stuff like that. Like other people that he knew that were big collectors, they all showed up to his house with stuff, and people were kind of like buying from each other and trading and all that stuff.
That would have been cool to be at.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to go out there and hang out with him for like maybe an hour or two, and then I had to like go hang out with another friend. But while we were there, we were talking because at this point I had quit CBCS, so I wasn't working there, so I didn't know what was going on. But I got to chat with him, talk with him a little bit, and he says, "Yeah, it looks like we're in the process of being bought." And he was like telling me like, he's like, I got this huge contract, and he's like, I have my lawyers going over the contract, and so we're gonna figure out all the details. So like Steve was very smart. Like Beckett basically didn't want to purchase CBCS without Steve Boric. That's how important Steve is. And so he's still there. He moved to Texas. The majority of everyone that wanted to continue working with CBCS, they all moved to Texas. There was a couple people that worked in the slabbing department that were like they didn't want to go to Texas. It was a smart move because Beckett, they already have their own building for all the authentic grading that they do. Mm-hmm. So they had more space, and so what they did was they just made all that space for all the CBCS employees. So they're saving money on rent because they didn't have to pay all that money in the building in St. Pete. The cool thing is one of the employees that they wanted to keep around was Steve Ricketts. And so what they did was they created a small office, which is actually kind of like in the St. Pete Clearwater area. So they have a small office there where they do pressing. They do pressing, not to mention any people that want to submit to CBCS. If they don't want to mail their books, they can call, they can schedule an appointment, they can go to the office in Clearwater, they can drop off the books there. You have to set up an appointment first, but you can go there and you can drop it off. And so like Steve Ricketts, he was like the manager in charge when I left, but he wasn't even like the manager when I started. But he's awesome. He's a super nice guy, very funny guy. Yeah, so that's pretty much it with CBCS. Like I got to work a few conventions after they moved to Texas, and that was when Mark Roman was there.
Do you know if they're going to continue having the CBCS label, or are they going to change the label to a Beckett?
Oh, I think honestly, if they were going to change it to Beckett, they would have done it by now.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, but I haven't seen anything new from CBCS. I haven't seen anything that's been graded like in the past 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, not that I've actually seen. When you look on the it'll tell you when it was graded or if it was witnessed by an autograph. I really haven't seen anything new in the comic book shops that I work at.
Oh, okay, the one that you work at. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. I mean, you know what? From what I've seen, and I used to work some of the conventions, and I remember that I heard them say that they're going to do a little restructuring. They're going to cut down on some of the conventions that they go to. They essentially just want to do conventions that have more volume, have more people that are submitting. So they were doing a whole bunch of conventions where there weren't that many people. Like I'm sure you've been to conventions where like the crowd is small. There's not a lot of people there. And so like sometimes CBCS would be at those types of conventions, So what they really needed to do is they needed to figure out which conventions that there will be more customers at, where that way they're not like throwing away money. Like the whole like any other business, you got to figure out what's best for you and how you're going to profit. So with that said, with them doing like less smaller conventions, especially locally, yeah, you might not see more books rated by CBCS recently locally. You might not. It depends. I think Ty from Titan Comics, I think he posted some stuff from CBCS.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else. I know, like, if you go to
it all depends on what's in the contract. There might have been a contract agreement that they bought the name outright so they can use what's already been established. It's kind of silly to take a brand that's been well known and lose that brand name, even though Beckett's branded too.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, in some cases, Beckett's a bigger name than CBCS.
Sure.
In fact, when I was working some of the tables and when I was working some of the conventions and some of the people were coming to us and we explained to them, like, yeah, we just recently got acquired by Beckett. They knew immediately who Beckett was. They're like, oh, Beckett. Oh, so, like, and that's the thing is, like, most people thought, like, CBCS.
Rando, Joe4771 has a question for you.
For who?
For you.
For me. Does CBCS have a rinky-dink operation, or are they? They're definitely professional. They have they have the proper equipment. They have computers. They have everything. They're not working in a basement with, like, the lighting.
And I can tell you what they don't have.
His storage.
They don't have that inner well problem that CGC has.
Right. It's so interesting how CGC does their books and how CBCS does their books. The cool thing I learned is that CBCS uses the same type of plastics and same type of, like, that the United States government uses. A lot of people don't know this, but the ink and the stuff that's in the comic books, there's these gases. So, like, when you get a book from CGC, you have, like, the what's that paper, Tim? You remember? What I'm talking about?
Yeah, the acid-free paper. It's buffer paper.
Yeah, I forgot the exact name of it, but the whole point of the paper was that it was supposed to absorb the gases from the comic.
That's what the Library of Congress uses.
Right. And so CBCS doesn't have to use that. They have it to where the gases can actually escape the case, and so that way the comic book is preserved. You don't have to re-slab your book. If you have a CGC book, chances are, if you don't re-slab it after like 7 or 8 years, the interior of your book could get damaged, and if it gets damaged, if you have to re-slab it, you may not get the same grade that you currently have. You may not.
Well, I'm gonna let people out there know this, but the years that I've been collecting, I would suggest people re-slab books probably after 10 years of having them, because plastics themselves leach. I know this because of these little guys right here. I collect action figures as much as I collect comics, and plastics leach over time. And you ever get an action figure where something gets sticky? There's a paint app that gets sticky. That's it. That's leaching. That's actually poisonous. If you don't wash your hands, you can actually get sick from that stickiness from your action figures. So if you get a sticky action figure, it might be time to retire it or stick it in a bag or something to slow down the process. By the way, guys, whoever's listening, if you can name this particular Marvel villain from a 1980s comic book. Yep, Marvel villain. There you go. Who is this Marvel villain?
Marvel villain, huh? I'm going to say...
Biggie Shaq's in the chat. What's up, Biggie Shaq? What's
Omega Red? No, Omega
Biggie Shaq.
What's up,
what's his name?
Crazy Guy Comics song to Crazy? That's what that guy did. We're just here.
Who is it?
Eric the Red.
What'd you say? No. This is Moltar from Saga of Crystar.
Hold on. This is what Joe said at first.
Red Man. Nope. Not Red Man.
Yeah, and then the second thing he said.
Then like a Doritos. This is Moltar from Saga of Crystar. He was a villain. If you ever seen the very first issue of Marvel Age, Marvel's little 25-cent comic book that they used to give out, but that are getting very collectible now. But the very first issue, you will see the first appearance of Saga, the Saga of Crystar. You'll see the first appearance of Crystar, and in the background, you'll see this molten guy with his little head, vents for the molten lava that comes out of his body. That's Moltar. And then, of course, he got his own comic series, which lasted, 12 issues, I think, or 14 issues, or 17 issues. Or it never made it into the 20s, I don't think.
This is what Biggie Shaq thought it was.
Yeah, it looks like a muscle. Yeah, it looks like a muscle guy. Sure. Yeah, a little taller than a muscle.
Yeah. See, like I like this, Tim. Like you bring out the action figure, they have to guess who it is. But yeah, I like when you tell them what. That's what I want to show them is the information you got. You know what I mean? So
I'm waiting to like custom make action figures and then just make things up completely.
Let's see. Here's this is for Randall, since Randall is a DC fan.
Okay. Let's see how much he knows.
This one was a rare figure because you had to mail away for it.
Okay.
It wasn't available as a regular figure. You had to mail it away. Let me put his where is it at? Oh. I'm just gonna
make sure you get the stickiness off.
Let's see if you know who this is.
Oh Jesus. That's not my guess, by the way. That's just my response. From the
Superpowers line.
Huh?
This is the Superpowers line.
Yeah. Samurai.
No.
I give up.
This is Steppenwolf. This is the villain from Justice League, the movie. This is the Superpowers. What's that?
You said somebody at DC was racist when they made that figure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He looks like low pain in the face.
Right?
Yeah. He looks very Asian. Yes, he does.
Yeah, Genghis Khan, like,
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's got this axe that is lanyard to him.
This is what Joe thought it was.
Kabuki.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the very rare Superpowers figure that you had to mail away. You had to collect UPC symbols or the little Kenner dials that used to be on the back of a lot of action figures, and you would get your free figure.
Gosh, I wonder how many different looks that they've given Steppenwolf.
Yeah, over the years. Yeah.
My favorite version of Steppenwolf was from the Superman animated series.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
I really, really enjoyed that. I was just like, he looks pretty sinister.
There was 2 miniseries that came out called the Superpowers miniseries for DC.
Yeah,
and this is what Steppenwolf looked like in those particular comic series.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never got to read those.
All right, we got the Air Spider 23 wants to ask us something.
Yeah.
I got the question.
I got him. I got the Emperor the same way. Yeah, the Emperor was a mail away figure back in the Powers. What was it? The Powers of the Force line, when you can collect the
that was from Kenner, right?
The Emperor was for what was it? Was it Kenner at that time, or was it Hasbro already? When the Power of the Force, when the reissued. Yeah, I don't think Kenner was around. I think it was Hasbro. When they did the Power of the Force line.
Than I am. I'll defer to you.
Or was it the Hasbro one? No, I mean, it wasn't the Kenner one. It was the Kenner one. It was a little white mailer box one. You're right. It was Kenner. Okay, yeah, the Emperor. They did it again. They offered an updated Emperor for the Power of the Force line.
Jeff, put like a 1, like a point.
You got a point. Okay. Randall 1.
Well, I am getting old, so I have Alzheimer's.
Tim 10. All right. I'm gonna let Javi know. Javi got the invite, so you can jump in whenever you want, Javi.
Sweet.
You can jump in whenever you want. I sent you an invite, so just jump right in. Ooh. What's that?
Nice. Welcome back, Kotter.
Welcome back, Kotter. This is an early Mattel action figure of Epstein from Welcome Back, Kotter. Of course, Epstein never had his homework. He always had a note from his mother.
Yeah.
So I liked Epstein. Unfortunately, we did lose Epstein several years back, where the actor who played Epstein passed away. There's only 2 actors or 3 actors actually from Welcome Back, Kotter that are still with us. We lost Horshack. We lost Epstein. We still have, of course, Travolta.
Yeah.
And we still have Gabe Kaplan. Gabe Kaplan, the lady, Marsha Strassman, who played Gabe Kaplan's wife, who I loved when I was a kid, because she was a hippie girl. The girl never wore a bra. The girl never wore a bra. And I always noticed that. I was like, my God, it must be cold in that studio, because I loved her. And of course, Washington is still with us. Where's Washington? There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, Washington is still with us. I got these at a yard sale, believe it or not. Still on the card. I mean, the card's really beat up, but these Mattel cards are very flimsy, and they're actually are tie-ins on the back where the figure is on the card, so you can see how flimsy the card is. So just to get the figure complete, untouched on the interior is just a pleasure, especially with the Sweat Hogs logo. That's the first thing that gets lost when these damn things get open. So you don't find that. But
I don't know why, but
I think I paid $1 a piece for them.
You showed me that. For some reason, it popped in my head. I just recently friend requested the actor who played Mayor Goldie Wilson from
Goldie Wilson from Back to the Future,
and he accepted my friend request. I was like, sweet.
Yeah, he'll send you an autograph too.
Yeah,
send him a self-addressed stamped envelope, and he'll send you an autograph. And you know what he sends you? He sends you his election poster.
Yeah?
Yeah, he'll send you then he's got two of them. He's got one where he's young, and then he's got the one where he's old where it says re-elect.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. Oh. I always liked it in the movie. He's like, yeah, one day you're going to be mayor. And he's like, mayor. Yeah, I like that.
Dude, here's what Biggie said.
Prototype Unicron. Yeah, that's a toughie. That is a toughie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a big.
I am looking. There's going to be a reissue for Unicron coming out, and it's going to be like Castle Grayskull for Matty collectors. If they reach a certain goal, they will produce it. So I can't remember who's got it going. I'm going to say it might be Entertainment Earth or one of those big toy distributors, but they have a website that you can go and you can actually pre-purchase the Unicron, and if you put the deposit down and they reach a certain goal, then they'll actually produce it, like they did the reissue of Castle Grayskull, which is like $1,000 piece now if you can find it. It's crazy money.
I would love it if they created like a human-sized Unicron figure.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Here's another.
That would be
one.
a pain in the ass to transform though into like a giant ball, like
Acrobot. Yeah, pretty nice. Right on.
Yeah.
I love 50s toys. You know, is it a tin robot? Is it one of those old tin robots, or was it actually a battery operated robot where it made? Oh yeah, Imperial Kong. Yeah, the Imperial line of monsters were all really cool. Horrible paint jobs, but yeah, they did a Frankenstein, they did a werewolf, they did a Dracula, and they did King Kong. Absolutely.
Well, you know what, Tim? I have one figure here that I'm pretty sure you don't have. All right, here we go. This guy. I look up to this guy. This guy is a real champion right here.
Oh yeah.
Nate Goodman.
Not who I expected.
Laugh it up, you loser.
Not who I expected.
That's funny.
Since we got it on you, Randall, I know you went to Spooky Empire. You got to meet. No, you didn't meet Bruce Campbell, but you met. Why can I not think of him right now?
Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi.
How long did you have to wait in that line?
Which line? There was 2 lines I had to wait.
Photo op and signature, both lines.
The longest line was signature. Photo actually didn't take long because I think I was like the first one in line.
Okay.
And there was like 3 different types of photos you can take, or 4 or 5 different types of photos you can take. People were getting like photos like so it was Sam Raimi, Ted Raimi, and Bruce Campbell. All 3 of them were there to take pictures at the same time. And so if you wanted to, you can get a picture with Ted Raimi by himself, which I don't think anyone did. You can get one taken with just Sam Raimi, which I did.
Right.
And then you can get one taken with Bruce Campbell by himself, which of course there was a big line. But the biggest line was the people that wanted to get pictures with all three of them. There was like a three-picture like bundle, which I really should have went with. The main reason I got a picture with Sam Raimi is because people love him for Evil Dead. They love him for like Ash, versus like Army of Darkness, all that stuff. Which those are great series. I do feel bad I haven't seen Evil Dead 2. I've only seen half of Evil Dead. And then the majority of Army of Darkness I watched on cable television like TBS or TNT or USA, one of those networks. Was that the $1 Million Man? Yeah. So like I didn't have to wait that long in line with Sam for the individual picture. That was like maybe hour and a half. The line to wait just to get his signature, that one was about maybe almost 3 hours.
Okay.
And so actually I had a picture right here I can show off. This is me with the man. Trying to get the right angle here.
Was he was he the kind of guy who wasn't too touchy-feely? Like, don't put your arm around me, man.
No, he got it.
No, he was actually very, very welcoming, very kind, generous.
He's taller than I expected.
I went in for a handshake a couple times. First time with the photo, second time when I got the signature. Wasn't shy at all. He was just very friendly.
Right on. Good.
And you would think like he seemed very like kind of like soft, like like hey, but like he had a pretty decent handshake. I think his hands were bigger than my hands, to be honest. I was just like, I shook his hand. I was like, that's a big hand.
He looks like he's taller than you.
Yes. I think he is slightly taller than me.
Yeah.
He is.
Well, let's put it back on Randall to show. Let's see how tall he is.
Huh?
No, I was messing around going, let's see how tall he is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So there was that. But, I mean, for me, Sam, my favorite thing he's ever done are the Spider-Man films.
No, okay.
And he, in my personal opinion, as a big Spider-Man fan, because remember, Spider-Man's my favorite Marvel character. From reading the comics, from watching animated series, and then watching the films, I still think that Sam is the best director of a live-action Spider-Man series. His first 2 Spider-Man films are still better than all of the rest of the Spider-Man films, live-action. I have to be specific, because more and more people are like, "Oh, Into the Spider-Verse is awesome," which of course it's awesome. Nick Cage gets to voice one of the Spider-Man in the movie, so of course it's awesome. But anyways, with that being said, here is
hold on.
the comic right here. I have an
amazing that's a good book. Hey.
Yeah. I have an Amazing Spider-Man number 50, signed by Stan Lee.
And
then I got Sam to sign underneath it. So my goal is to get Tobey Maguire. There's actually enough space down here in the bottom to get Tobey Maguire. I wouldn't even mind getting Willem Dafoe to sign it, because over the years, like I appreciate him more as an actor every year that goes by. He's such a great character actor, and like I feel like he's very underappreciated as Norman Osborn.
Let me see that case again, Randall.
Yeah. I bet you can't.
That case looks awfully familiar. What case is that?
Oh, come on, man! I thought you were the expert here.
No, I'm being.
Do I have something you don't have?
No. I'm being inquisitive because I want you to say it.
Yeah, you say it.
What kind of case is that, Randall?
That's pretty slick. I will call it the Randall skin case.
There you go. That does not sound pleasant at all.
Actually, it's a really cool case. You can actually, on the sides of it, let me give you a closer look here.
You got bumpers on it, don't you? No?
Yeah. It's like you got the black rubber here that you can keep off. And same thing on the top, on the sides. You can peel it off. You can actually open the case, and you can remove the comic from there. So it does come with its own like little mini inner well that's like removable. You can put in there. Because this book is like larger than the regular current size comic. Because right now, currently, I have it in a Silver Age bag and board, And so when I tried to put it in the inner wheel, it was just too tight.
Sure.
And I didn't want to risk adding any more damage to that book already. Because when I bought that book, I actually bought it CGC graded. It was an 8.0. I think I bought it like somewhere between $900 and $1,000, and so between 900 and 1,000, somewhere in that range. And then I had it cracked open, and then I went and got it signed by Stan. And the cool thing is, and I'm sure I have pictures somewhere in my library, I had it slabbed at CBCS for free, but the reason it was free was because I knew the people at the in the slab department, and like they had some like leftover cases that they felt like, I don't think we're going to use these cases. They were probably going to throw them away or whatever. And so I said, hey, do you think you can slab this book in one of those cases? And they did. So they actually slabbed the book in one of the cases that they weren't going to use. So it had no label. It was basically a one of a kind, like, you know. And but I knew down the road that I was going to have it cracked open, and that I was going to have more signatures added onto the book. So I actually ended up cracking it open, and I cracked it open myself the night before Spooky Empire.
Right.
What? Steve? I mean, Tim, say hi to Steve. Steve's in the chat. Steve.
Hey, what's up, Steve? Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah. Steve's in the chat.
Hey.
We got Biggie. We still got Conquistadors. We still have a bunch of people are still here, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, we're running an hour, but I don't care. We don't see each other much, so we can all.
You want to see a nice acquisition?
Sure.
This is something that I bought myself because of my October gig that I had. Every time I get a nice gig that pays me well, I'll dip into the pot a little bit and I'll invest into another book. I love 9/8s. Trust me. I wish I can get every 9/8 book out there, but I think the real secret are 9/6s. 9/6s are just as good as 9/8s. Sometimes you can buy a 9/6, get it pressed, and it'll come back a 9/8.
Sure.
But when you get into the 20 centers, you know, this is one of those Swamp Things that I remember reading as a kid, and I remember that it was exciting to me because it was Swamp Thing, like swamp matter, versus mechanisms, machines, and I thought this was the Bernie Wrightson cover of this book is just absolutely gorgeous. Yep. But I got a nice 9/6 of a Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
This is issue number 6 of Bernie Wrightson. I'm gonna eventually have a complete set of 1 through 10 of all of Bernie Wrightson's comic books of Swamp Thing, all at 9/6. And right now I'm at issue number 6, and I've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all at 9/6s. So the next one will be a number 7. Which is a bit of a challenge because that's the one where he crosses over with Batman.
Oh, yeah. That's gonna be pricey.
Yeah, it's a little pricey. Well, I think that's like a $300 book at 9/6. Well, this one I actually got really, really cheap. This is one of those midnight swoops. I swooped in and I grabbed this book for $80.
Steve knows those type of deals.
Did you buy it on eBay?
Yeah, I got it on eBay.
See, I just picture you like when you swoop in and buy a book like that. Before you swoop in, you like put on a cape. Just like put on a cape, and you're like, "Whoop! I got it."
I'm actually in my underwear. Not only do I take your book, but I humiliate you at the same time.
Yeah. You get up, you like pull the wedgie, and you do like.
That's right. Yes.
Like I said, man, this is what I want to introduce people to you guys in general. Like,
dude, this is amazing, man. Right. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for including me. Thank you for thinking of me. I'm glad I ran into you at Spooky Empire. Right. I'm very fortunate today. You know, like I work 2 jobs, so I work roughly 6 days a week, and then technically 7 days a week because on Tuesdays I go and that's my day off. But I go to pick up the Diamond Order and I go handle the comic books and all that other stuff. So every day I'm just working. I don't have like first time in a long time. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving I'm literally just gonna like lay in bed and just watch a little TV and no, I take that back. I'm gonna watch a lot of TV. I'm gonna watch a lot of TV, and I'm gonna just play.
Like I said, if you want to hop on Thanksgiving too, man, just let me know, and I'll send you an invite.
Yeah, we'll do a Thanksgiving special.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just
Why
sit,
not?
I'll sit there eating like turkey.
We
While
all
we're
be,
talking about
yeah,
comics.
we'll be all eating and then
Yeah.
streaming at the same time.
Well, I'll just pick a random comic book and start pouring gravy on it. Special Thanksgiving episode.
That would be what is it? That would be Torok. That would be a Torok.
No, yeah, that's funny. I was gonna say let's get a Zen intergalactic ninja and just pour like.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh, there you go. Find the book with the blood on it and just turn it brown, and it's gravy.
There you go.
Yeah. The gravy edition.
Here's another 9/6 acquisition. This is a 30 center. I've already got All-Star Western number 9 and 10,
Nice.
and now I've got Jonah Hex number 1 at a nice 9/6.
So
Right.
is that Jonah Hex number 1? Is that first appearance of Jonah Hex?
No. He made his first appearance in All-Star Western.
Right, All-Star Western.
You don't even see him on the cover of All-Star Western. You see this. There's like the swinging doors to a saloon, and you see his shadow coming in underneath the swinging doors, and that's how they introduce him. He didn't make his first cover appearance until the next issue, where he's fighting a bunch of buzzards after being staked to the ground in the desert. Of course, how many times did Jonah Hex get staked to the ground in the desert where he was supposed to die and get dried up by the sun? But
Please tell me you've seen the DC Showcase animated.
Oh
short,
yes,
Jonah
the
Hex.
short. Yeah. Jonah Hex is one of my all-time favorite characters. I always loved it when Justice League Unlimited had a crossover where they went into either in the past and brought Jonah Hex into the storyline.
Did you watch the Justice League action animated series?
I have. I haven't seen all the episodes. I believe Jonah Hex is in that one too. Yes.
Yeah, I think one or two episodes.
Yeah, I've got them on DVD, so I'm gonna probably get through them in some
I
time
like
or
the
another.
storage room with all the boxes. Yeah, that's Tim's.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all Tim. What you need to do is do a live tour next time.
Well, that's why I do a little bit of my In the Vault thing, and my In the Vault was a first live tour.
Yeah.
But because of my Wi-Fi and being way back in the vault, my Wi-Fi box is all the way at the front of the house, and with all these metal shells, it's like being in a prison, literally.
I think if I ever visit and we do an episode together, I have to dress like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Now you saw my front room, and my front room had a lot of boxes in it.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah, that needs to be integrated into this room.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
That's only 2 rooms. There's a third room that I can't even get into.
Yeah,
that's the room that has a lot of my action figures in it too. But I will be getting rid of a lot of the stuff that I have. I'm going to start whittling it down, and hopefully maybe even one day open up my own shop just to retire with something like Urban Legends. I'm going to give a shout out to Urban Legends because I like the way he does business. I like the way that he is like he opens when he wants to open. He's maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I kind of like, he makes it his time. It's his hobby,
Yeah, he still maintains like a full-time type job.
Yeah.
So the days that he's not open, he's actually working. And then sometimes when he's not there, he has somebody running the store. And I think a lot of times it's because he's out of town and he's like buying a collection. He's buying a collection and he's going to be like driving it back down here and sorting through it. First off, he has great prices. He's very friendly.
Yep.
He's very generous with like the way he does his books. It is smart business. It is. He got a great spot. And by great, I mean affordable. Yeah. It's not great as in like you drive by it and you see it like, oh, there it is. No, you have to.
Another shop.
I send a lot of customers his way. I really do. There's a lot of people who are looking for back issues and they don't care about the new issues that come out. I'm always sending people to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
he now remembers me as the Superman, electrical blue Superman guy.
Blue Superman guy.
yeah.
Because I'm my goal is to have the world's largest Superman 123 electrical blue Superman collection.
Well, let's let the YouTube community know. So you'll be surprised how many books you'll be getting now.
Great, thank you.
Please send all your copies of Electric Blue Superman to Randall. P.O. Box.
Yeah. There is. I'm even collecting CGC graded ones too when I have the money. But yeah, no, like there's 3 versions of that book. There is the glow in the dark version of the book, which is my favorite cover. Ron Friends did the cover. Dan Jurgens did the other cover, but for some reason it's like a purple background, which I'm not crazy about, you know. And then the way he like draws Superman, it's like it's not his best drawing of Superman, in my opinion. And then there's another version of that book, and rumor has it that it's a very, very low second print run of that cover. The difference, this is how you can tell if you have a first print and second print of the Dan Jurgens cover. If you look in the top left corner of where the DC Bullet logo is, they're different colors. Blue is first print, black is the second print. So like I remember I hit up a shop when I was in Kentucky because I went to Metropolis, Illinois for Superman Celebration. And I stopped at this one shop and I was going through their dollar bin and I found that book. And what's even funnier was I was still learning the difference between the first and second print of that cover. So when I got home back in Florida and I was like looking through the books again, I took a second glance at the book that I bought and I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is the second print. So I was just like thrilled. You know, I think I have 2-3 copies of the second print now. And it's a very low print run. You'll see, like if you go on eBay, you'll see some guy trying to sell it for like $100 on CBCS rated, you know, which I will probably buy that one day when I have the money.
Yeah. I collect way too much.
Well, you can always dwindle it down, Tim. You can always dwindle it down to what you really want.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful book that I acquired too. That I got at Comics and Stuff. One of the shops that I work at. Shout out to Pete and Anthony at Comics and Stuff. But he gets a lot of CGC books from one of his resources that used to actually buy a lot of graded books from Heroes Haven. And this is a beautiful Godzilla in Hell variant cover.
Nice.
You can see that.
Right about, yeah.
Yeah, this is the Jeff Zarnow cover. It's the Godzilla in Hell variant. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a really
right there
beautiful Godzilla book. I love Godzilla. Godzilla stuff is something that I collect. So I get a lot of that stuff as well too. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a charger. My phone is starting to tell me that I need to charge it up. So I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. So did you want me to press the leave button?
Yeah, and just pop right back in.
All right, right on. I'll be right back.
Cool.
Okay. So what you been up to? Yeah, what you been up to, Randall?
Like I said before, just working a lot, man. Just working a lot. I was working earlier today. I was there from 11 a.m. and I got out of there about 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Did you at least take a shower and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, just working a lot, man. And hopefully down the road, a buddy of mine, his dad works for the city.
Okay.
One of the city jobs, you know. And I think hopefully a job opening is gonna come up. If it does, I'll be making almost double what I'm making now, which is great. Okay. I can pay someone to take care of the books for me on Tuesdays.
Right.
And then I'll have weekends off, so I can focus on the weekend to kind of like organize and get everything ready. You know, it's very difficult. Like the books, there's new books every week. You know, so like every week passes by, and it's like the comics continue to pile up. You know, and I don't have a big house. You know,
well,
I'm not able to organize stuff like Tim does. You know. Yeah. I'm sure if I had 10 skills, I'd be able to, maneuver through everything.
Yeah, let people know you got a website and stuff. Like you can buy the variant stuff from you. So I'll leave everything.
The website, I don't promote a lot right now because it's still building.
In the beta phase. Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, like you can go on the website, you can order, you can buy stuff, but the problem is there's not a lot of stock. It's very time consuming to upload all the stock, that I have.
Hobby got something. Hobby make you laugh.
Yeah, You got a lot of diamond boxes back there. Yeah, I do. I mean, I've been in business for a year now, so like these diamond boxes that you see here, that's nothing, man. I've had to like break. I mean, well, diamond first off is horrible with shipping.
Yeah.
They'll take like one graphic novel and put it in a box that size.
Yeah.
You know? And then like, here you go. And I'm like, you could have put this in a smaller box, you know. But like, no, they'll send like 3-4 boxes a week, you know, and not all that size, but like I actually prefer those boxes. Those are the boxes that they put figures and collectibles in.
I'm a little more relaxed now, guys. I have secluded myself into my bedroom where I'm here.
I believe Joe has a question for Tim. I think this question was more for Tim than anybody else.
Oh, Joe. Okay, sorry. I have to look around my camera to read the question. How many metropolises have you been to? Just one. Just one. I was supposed to go to one earlier this year, but I ran like it got complicated. What sucks too was I actually paid for a hotel room, and since I wasn't able to go, and they didn't refund me my money, so I basically lost like $400 for a hotel room that I didn't go to for Metropolis. So that was a bummer. That was a big bummer.
Should have told Tim to go in your place. Should have told Tim to go in your place.
Oh, I mean, Tim actually I think was supposed to join me, but Tim was like, "Oh, I can't do it, man. I don't have the money." That was a shame. It was mostly my job too. My job wouldn't let me go, so that was a little horrible. Well, you didn't say that. You just said you didn't have the money. So. Well, that's part of it too. That's part of it too. Job isn't connected to the money. That's how it usually works. When I'm here in my bedroom, I like to sit around and relax with all my toys. So. Nice.
Yeah, I thought the guys would get the enjoyment out of you guys because you guys aren't YouTubers. You know what I mean? You guys are way different.
And then I would love to be a YouTuber, but the problem is time and energy. You know, like I think the key to doing YouTube videos is a lot of work to edit videos.
Or you can do this.
He keeps saying I'm not a YouTuber, but yet I have twice as many YouTube videos as he does on my YouTube channel. I just don't promote myself a lot because I'm an actual performer. I'm a paid performer in the Tampa Bay area, and it's hard for me to do. It's hard for me to do free work.
Yeah, I'm messing around.
You gotta pay me, man. You gotta, send me some money.
You can always do a Patreon, right? You can do a Patreon, and people.
You gotta get 1,000 subscribers. You gotta get a certain amount of hours viewed before you can get yourself a Patreon. There's a new account. There's one called a coffee can account. Have you heard of this one?
No.
Yeah, it's a tip jar. And basically, people can tip you through a coffee account.
Nice.
That's really cool.
They can send you $1 or $2, whatever, just to say hello and just to chime in. I'm not sure if there's any restrictions or anything like that with the coffee account, but there's a lot of YouTubers that are going that route because I think coffee gets like maybe 2% of whatever it is that you invest.
I have a personal saying that I love, and it's anything is better than nothing.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. So if someone's kind enough to like give like even a quarter, I'm like, thank you. I'll take it. Thank you. Anything's better than nothing.
Usually when I'm sitting here in my bedroom, I like to relax with my man thing.
We were just talking about that like a couple of weeks ago too.
Yeah, this is my Legend Build-A-Figure man thing. This is the newest one that came out. So sometimes I'll just sit here and just play with my man thing for hours. There you go. Joe4771 says, what are your links? Jeff, why don't you go ahead and make sure that those links are attached down below so they can check us out on our respective videos.
I got you. I'll take care of that right after we get off, or you guys can type in if you guys can type in the chat and they can hit you guys up too.
Can I type in the chat? I've never done this before.
You can. You should be able to.
Where would I type?
It should have a little thing down there. It says you can be typing in the chat.
And you can go to Mylar Madness too. Just look up Mylar Madness. Anybody here who collects comic books know what a Mylar is. Mylar Madness is my Your man thing needs to be put away. Notice it took 2 hands to hold my man thing.
All right, let me see if I can get the links in there. So give me 1 second.
Cool.
I'm
Thanks.
gonna have, yeah.
Hey,
I'll-
Jim, I
thanks for
want to
that,
ask you a
Bob.
question. You've been so gracious and you've been asking us a bunch of questions. I want to
There
hear
you go.
something from you.
Okay.
What got you into comics? How did you get started?
How I got started was pretty much I was 13, working for my mom's restaurant. Had a newsstand like right next to where I worked.
Okay.
Got my first $3 of a tip from making a delivery. Walked in there, bought an issue of I think it was like a Venom Carnage crossover book, and I thought it was all. I've always thought it was an issue 1, but it was like a 5th issue of the last run of the last book. That's how I started, and that's my first book. And then I left for a while. Like I collected a bunch of other stuff, and then I left for a while. Then started collecting, like, started doing video game stuff, and then stopped that, and then got back in Injustice, got me back into collecting, and that's how I ended up meeting you and Tim and everybody else. So
yeah. I mean, I feel like I joke around sometimes, but I feel like I'm kind of like the center of the universe.
right.
Basically, like, there's all kinds of people that have met, and part of the reason they met was because I was involved in it somehow. So like, I remember you used to shop at Heroes Haven,
Yeah.
and then you came into my store and we would hang out, we would talk, we always had like these great conversations.
Yeah.
And then I gave my store to a scumbag, and it turns out Tim works for that scumbag, and that's how you met Tim, right?
Yeah, it's funny how things work out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. Comics have really brought a lot of people into my life. My best friend, my oldest and dearest friend, his name is Richard Garcia. I think you remember Richard Randall.
Yeah.
Jeff, I think you've met Richard once or twice. Yeah, he and I went to kindergarten together at McFarland Park.
Wow.
I was 5 years old, and we used to be able to bring things to play with to class because we had a little play hour. Huh?
Like your man thing.
Yeah, I didn't have man thing back then, but I had my Migos. And I had my Batman Migo and my Shazam Migo and my Tarzan Migo.
Yeah.
And Richard was big in the DC. He was huge in the DC. And when he saw that I had Shazam and Superman, and he was like, "Man, can I come over and check out your Migos?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, come on over."
Yeah.
And then he introduced me to comic books.
So tell him that story. How he traded you a book. I forgot. Was it he traded you some book? Yeah, tell him that story.
Yeah. Well, my best friend Richard actually got one up on me when he traded me an Uncanny X-Men. I believe it was a very young issue. I want to say it was like 103. It was in beautiful shape. Had a beautiful, I think it was a Juggernaut appearance and a Black Tom appearance. And he traded me this book for a first issue special. Me not knowing what a real first issue was. It was a comic from DC Comics called First Issue Special, and it had a Dr. Fate appearance. But I love the artist. The artist was my first introduction to a very young Walt Simonson, and he does the story in this particular book. And it's a story of Dr. Fate fighting against Imhotep, a giant mummy, one of his villains. And I thought I had the first issue, but no, it was issue number 9. Of First Issue Special, it was a short-lived comic book that DC was producing at the time. It was still a really cool issue, but when it came to value, I think mine was found in the dollar bins, and the First Issue Special with the Dr. Fate appearance, and it was found in the dollar bins, whereas my X-Men 103 was a hot book at the time. It was like a $40 book, so it was like, oh, so even my own friends would screw me. That's fantastic.
Oh, and then Joe is, I think he's a Tampa-based guy because look.
Yeah, McFarland Park, absolutely. I grew up in McFarland. Yeah. I still run that park every other day. I'll go out there and I'll go for a walk or a jog just to try to stay healthy. I live literally by, close to 275 by McFarland Park.
Nice.
Yep. like I said, man, it's like this is more for you guys than anybody, anything else. It's more to introduce the YouTube community to you guys in general, because I've always, I've done a couple of YouTube. If it wasn't for Tim, you guys wouldn't have the Cantonese Comic Kid
It's
or the
true.
Cantonese Comic King.
Yeah. And
You
I
guys
love how enthusiastic you are about it, and it's
Yeah.
like, and I love it when you share it in my comic book group, because I mean,
Yeah.
like,
You could actually go to one of my older videos, one of my archive videos, and you could actually see the first appearance of the Cantonese Comic Kid, Mr. Jeff Comic 813, making his first appearance on one of my videos for the comic book shop that I work for.
Yeah.
That shop, yeah.
We will not mention.
Well, you mention it all the time because that's your local LC,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's Nerd Out. I work at Nerd Out, and I work at comics and stuff with Pete. Both they're really great stores. We try to provide a good customer service as much as we can. Look at Randall. Randall's like, no. When I'm there, we do. When I'm there, we do.
You are literally the best thing about. I won't say their name, but you are the best thing about that shop. You keep that shop alive,
Thank you. I do my best.
And then
my best
you keep my hate alive for that guy. But that's okay.
Sorry if I'm hitting you, Randall.
My love for Tim is greater than my hate for that scumbag.
Oh, you've warmed the cockles of my heart.
It's true.
No,
I mean, Pete, comics and stuff like I've even heard from other people that Pete's he's more nice, he's more friendlier of a person.
Oh God, yes, yeah. Pete's a friendly guy. He's really pleasant fellow. You never see him lose his temper. You never see him get angry at anything. And even if you find a great deal in his dollar bins, he'll be like, "It's okay, man. It's enjoy $1, no problem." I mean, you can go into his dollar bins and find books that are $10, $15 sometimes.
Yeah. He's one of the good ones. I like him. I like Chad over at Yancey Street South.
Yep. Chad at Yancey Street South. Always give him a round of applause. Chad's a great guy.
Those two guys. I'll give a little shout out to Justin Overstreet over at Bull Street. He's always been good to me.
Yeah, he's great, man.
He's got a lot of work to do taking over that store. It was Uncanny Heroes, and now it's Bull Street Comics. But he's fair. He's a nice guy. He's human though, right? Like I think at any given case, some people might have bad experiences, like catch somebody on a bad day. I haven't really heard anything bad. So far it's all been good with him, but I think him, Chad, and
he's a high school football coach, man. He's a high school football coach. He's gonna go through more bull crap with high schoolers, man. So
sure, absolutely.
We can't put him through anything harder than high schoolers.
Those are the guys. Those are the guys that are really like running Tampa, in my opinion. Like Emerald City and St. Pete. Neil, like I know that Tim, you know him better than I do. Emerald's been around for a long time, but
first time you met Tim, I gave him the mall number 1. Right on.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for visiting, Steve. You're always welcome in the store, man.
Whenever Javi and them come down from Miami, so we'll go visit Tim too. So
maybe one day all 3 of us are doing really well. We get to just take road trips and get to visit other YouTubers.
I've wanted to do a YouTube series where I do all the comic book shops in Florida.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm down with you. I'll do it with you.
Take a whole month off and just drive to every comic book shop and just support all the local LCSs in the state of Florida and just be Florida strong, period.
I would love to do that, except there is one store I won't support. Yeah.
Hey, Steve, are you down? Answer in the chat. Steve, Steve would be the one would be down. Steve, Hialeah, freaking Conquistadors. I'm calling all of you guys too, man. You guys down to do this with Tim?
We'll call the stores in advance. We'll do little 5-minute interview with the store owners. We'll take a nice walk around their store. We'll just let everybody know.
No, we should just bum rush them. We should just surprise the hell out of them. Just kick down the doors and like, we're here to buy comics and we're gonna film it.
We could do that too, you know. Whatever floats your boat, man. Whatever we can have fun with, you know. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting bored. They're getting bored, so I'm signing out now. We'll just talk out off air after this. So I'm
right.
getting off. All right, guys. You know who this is. You know what this is. It's your boy Jeff, aka the Kid Things Comic Kid. This is gonna be a new show going on. It's still in a little bit at the works, but this is a pilot. But like I said, it's gonna be every Sunday. So you guys know I got Kid Things Comic Wednesdays going on. I got comic books with a hook going on, and then I have Silver Age Sundays going on. So you guys all know all those are the shows I got going on. Let's see if Tim got anything going on this week. Tim?
Guys, you can always check me out at Mylar Madness on YouTube. Just go ahead and subscribe and follow me every Tuesday night. I post a video for the new arrivals in our comic book shop with my suggestions on the hot issues coming out. And these are usually the unusual suggestions. Did Comic Tom always have the Once and Future? No, I got that one before he did. So yeah, I'm the independent guy. I like the independent books, even though I do still read Marvel and DC. I love the small press books. I love small companies and family companies. So check me out on Mylar Madness. And of course, this Christmas, you can always come down to Pirate Water Taxi and join me on one of the boats where I'll be happy to entertain you for a few minutes. And that's all I've got to say. Randall?
You
can find me in my Facebook group, the Comic Book Collectors League. I also have like pages, so if you want to like the page, I appreciate it. I have so much work to do, but when I catch up, my goal is to be on there and participating more and posting more, and especially on the like pages and the group pages. If you join the group page, what's great about that is currently there's about 400 members on there. So you'll be able to interact with some like really nice people on there, sharing posts, you can even do your own video. It's not really a buy, sell, trade group, but you can go on there and just talk about comics, show off what you have. I'm on there, and if you have DC Universe, you can go for DC Universe members only, and then go on to the message boards to confirm who you are, and then you're in the group. So those are the two main things I'm doing right now is that, and then Blank Variant Comics. I do have a group for that, but I'm going to be changing the group, so I'm not really accepting anybody into the group right now. But you can like the page, you can like Blank Variant Comics, and that's pretty much it. That, and I'm just always around on Facebook. You can even find me on Twitter as well. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I'm barely on Instagram. I'm occasionally on Twitter because
I'm gonna tell you now, Randall. If you're gonna do Blank Variant Corner, do Instagram. Take pictures of the books.
Yeah.
They say you'll sell and you'll mail it out. Trust me, you'll see how much DMs you get. Trust me, that works. Try it.
Yeah, I mean, even on Instagram, I've had like other people who sell comic books. They've been following me, and I'm just like, that's awesome, that's great, And I see some of their posts, and I see like they're selling their books and stuff like that.
Right.
I know Instagram's huge for that. I'm just very, very low on energy and time.
Right.
Well, I'm like one of the Transformers. I need some energon, a little energon, and a little luck.
Yeah.
But I'm also on Twitter, and
I need a.
Oh, I think you're freezing up.
He's frozen.
I can hear you, Tim.
And I can hear you too.
Hold on.
There's Jeff.
Oh, wait.
I said I need a comic book collectors league shirt. I've been in the league long enough.
Yes. I actually set up one of those. I forgot the name of the company. I'm sure I have a link somewhere in the group where you can order the comic book collectors league shirt. But I promise you a free one. So you're gonna get one on me.
Okay.
Hopefully very soon. Hopefully very soon. You and my buddy William C. Rollis, who posts on there a lot, you guys, you totally earn the comic book collectors league shirt, and I appreciate all that you guys do into the group, and I appreciate the support. And I'm gonna end it with, I'm also on Twitter, Comic Book Collectors League, the CBCL. One great thing about Twitter is you get to interact with a lot of people that work in comics. One of my favorite people to work with or not work with, but talk to on Twitter is Mark Millar. And last year for my birthday, I tagged Mark Millar in a post on Twitter, on a tweet. And I said, hey, it's my birthday, Mark, and I'm a huge fan of your work. I would love it if you would give me a follow back for Twitter for my birthday. And he did. So I have Mark Millar is following me on Twitter. And if you see like how many people he only follows like, I don't know, like 1,000 people.
No, okay.
I just realized that I look a little like Alan Moore with the beard, being so close with the darkness around me.
You're like
Am I
Alan
right,
Moore's brother.
What's that?
You're like Alan Moore's brother.
Yes, I'm Alan Moore's lesser known brother's cousin's fiance.
What's a name that rhymes with Alan? Valen?
Steve.
Steve Moore.
Yeah.
Tony Moore.
Oh, that's taken.
Yeah, that's taken.
It's just going to be, wash me some Watchmen.
All right, guys, I'm signing out. So peace. I'm gonna let all these guys links below. I'm gonna leave it all after I edit the thing. I'm gonna leave all the links in the below so you guys can follow these guys. And see you guys later.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Bye.
Yeah.